Welcome back, everybody, to Owlet. Today, we're going to get kicked off here with our second day of week 2 of stage 2. And casting with me today is Cruz. Cruz,
Hey
how are you
guys,
doing?
what's up? I'm doing pretty well today.
Yeah, and so we're going to have the Ohio OwOs facing off Ryujin Uprising. The Uprising are still looking for their first win of the stage against an Ohio team that has continued to be dominant. So, what do you
Yeah,
think we're going to be seeing today, Cruz?
yeah. Since today we're going to go on Ryujin Tower, maybe some fair to start off. To start it off, depending which map of DJing we get. I would love to see some fair boobs.
Oh yeah, Fair is pretty good in this meta, all things considered. As long as you're hitting your shots, she can easily take over games.
All
But
right.
we are on
Yeah.
that new patch. I don't know if you've gone through the patch notes, but Lucio's also looking extremely strong. Speaking of characters who can boop.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with the patches yet, or I haven't seen the patches at all lately, and so I'm really excited to see if any characters are going to make a huge difference here.
Yeah, I do know some of these players do favor a good diva, and diva has gotten slightly buffed with the tweaks to her defense matrix. It's a little more uptime on there. As well as we might, Tracer's got a bit of a buff. Hopefully, we'll see the icon of Overwatch itself get a little bit of playtime here.
I would love to see that kind of Overwatch get to play time here. I love Tracer. I love being a Tracer main, and I don't think that's ever gonna stop.
Yeah, I love playing Tracer. I hate playing against her. Playing
Yeah,
against a good Tracer is the most frustrating thing in this game.
being a good Tracer is the funnest thing in this game because people get frustrated at you. All right,
Yep.
looks like from the side of Ohio Wolves, they're pointing out double the Ryan Zari, which we've seen them play before in the past. But now we're going to see them with Ram Crusher going over to the Reaper and Jav on the Mei. So a normal Mei Reaper comp.
Yeah, nothing crazy out of Ohio. We've seen them run the Ryan Zarya continuously, even though it isn't quite meta. They make it work, and it's I've highlighted before. It's an interesting use of ults in this meta. You don't have a lot of big grabs like where.
Yeah, and looks like we're seeing double shield coming out from Ryujin. Oh, it looks like we're already getting into action. Ryan swings into hammer, gets Sarissa, and just the seeming is Brule as well. And then now here comes the fight on the point. Looks like you in trouble right now. That Ryan's pushing so much into him. Looks like Ryujin's just backing out already.
Yeah, when you lose that many members, you kind of have to back up. But they got really split off there. It looked like XAL was trying to come around from that right side. But with the teleporter up top, they were just all split up, and Reaper just punished their position immediately. And now it looks like they want to get aggressive and take this fight almost in their spawn.
Yeah, and there goes Cole to help support the Ryan push in. Looks like they're not going to much from it because they're just going to back out as soon as they got advantage.
Yeah, they are going to back out, but that's an early ultimate from Penguinator. But, Coalescence builds so quickly, already up to another 20% on it. Or 25%, actually.
Yeah, it looks like Ryujin just coming up here already, coming to spawn. Bones already went in with the Ryan charge. Didn't get anything from it, but it looks like he was protected. So he should be fine. But that Zara is high charge thanks to that Ryan aggression. And then Ram Crush goes and gets to right off the bat both Reaper and Narissa. The farmer C can't get as much anguish as she can through that hallway, so she's pretty ineffective right now.
Yeah, and, a lot of what I think we're seeing here is that playing with a Lucio and playing without a Lucio, they're forced to go through this small choke, and Ryan Zarya love playing in this up close and personal area where Ryan can start swinging. Where Orisa has advantage over Ryan is in the mid-range game where she can yank him one way, shoot him, break his shield, and just pelt him down constantly. But if you let a Reinhardt just get right up in their face like they are right now.
Yeah, Reinhardt goes with a huge shadow already, gets XL already out of the game, and then Barrage goes in from the side of Brule, doesn't get anything from it, but looks like Ryujin already on the losing side.
They are, and as it ticks up to 74%, it looks like they are going to stay aggressive here and try to push this into one-fight territory.
Yeah, and right now we're just seeing OwO already pushing up with the same aggression because they've been working this angle for a long time already, and it doesn't look like Ryujin can get a good handle on it. And then there goes Bonestone going in already, managing to get Tenacious, Orisa, and then And then looks like Zari's, and looks like Mora sneaks into the back. Can she get a back cap? Well, at least she forced the side of, Ohio to come back. And then Ryujin's Pharmacy in trouble, and they do get knocked out already. That looks like it's gonna be the fight for Ryujin, or for Ohio.
I love it. The grab out of Justice Seaman was used to try to catch the Pharah. So you just saw a graviton in the ceiling of the point. Oh man. That's what Zarya's grab does in this meta. You gotta grab a Pharah for it to get any value.
Yeah, just big brain plays coming from Justice Seaman. That would have been a huge barrage, especially to lessen out her stall time.
Yeah, and well, now Brule is going to go over to the Bastion, which works very well in this comp, and maybe a little bit less mobile comp will kind of help Ryujin stay together a bit more, because they keep getting isolated, and Sandpiper going over the Lucio, I think, is a very necessary change if they want to bring this back here on map 2.
Yeah, and it looks like they are running double shield again, so maybe they want to put more protection on the Bastion than we could actually see. But weird thing is coming from the supports. Normally you would see Bastion run with the Mercy, which they do switch off to Sandpiper and Baptiste for the Mortality Field.
Yeah, no Baptiste is a bit interesting, but you know, the Coalescence builds up so fast that it's a very valuable ultimate to have.
Yeah, now we have Ryan. He can't really push in because of so much burst coming out from the Bastion. And as you can see, Jaff already fell to the Bastion. So strong this meta, it looks like. And then looks like the side of Ohio, they're just hiding behind point, trying to stay out of the Bastion sightlines. And looks like they're just trying to play a war, like who can get off point first. And then Ryan Shield already went down. There goes Pool. Can they get anything from it? They do get the Bone Zone, the Ryan player. But Ram does get the Moira, so they're already down the shield. Then he gets the whole side of Ryujin.
Yeah, the Pharah play coming from Ram Crasher here was absolutely crucial. Penguinator also chiming in there in the kill feed, picking up a few on the way out of that fight, and Ohio will maintain first control.
That looks really solid for the side of Ryujin early off. What do you think happened there?
Well, it came down to they had Ohio right where they wanted them, where you can melt down that Reinhardt shield and burst through Zarya bubbles, and effectively this composition's now defenseless. But Ram Crasher along with Jonathan in the sky forced them to turn around, and you can't really turn around in Orisa shield.
Yeah, it looks like Penguinator already dropped. And just to see him, it gets Excel as well. So this was a trade between the Mora and the Sim. And then now we just have a Job picking up Bros. So they're down Baptiste. And then there goes the rain shower. Does manage to get Bastion when he was in turret form. And then just to see him cleaning up a bit. And then there goes Mercy for the rest.
Yeah, and it seems to be every time you get a pick on the side of Ohio and you think you kind of took out a critical point of their composition, somebody else steps right up. Penguinator happens to go down a little early, Jack comes right back with a pick, and then Justice Seaman chimes in, and they always have an ult ready. But Ram Crasher getting rocked out of the sky by Yui. What an amazing shot.
Yeah, that might be one of their ways to open up with. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they had their whole team available to push forward any more than they wanted to, but it looks like they are gaining some movement here without Pharah. And there goes Sigma, manages to get 2 in the sky. Zarya had bubble up, so she was fine. Bone Zone does go in, gets 3 kills already right off the bat, and then looks like Sigma's already frozen and it gets picked up. Job doing work on this Mercy.
Yeah.
Or May, my bad.
On the May. Yeah, no, Jav's May is looking very good, and it looks like with a pick on the Sandpipe here late into this round at 99%, no one's going to be able to touch. And we will have Ryujin going over to the side of Ohio.
Yeah, that was very impressive hold from Ohio. We got to see that Ohio aggression that we've seen before. Then the switch, the fact that they haven't switched from Zarya or Ryan proves to be really impressive. Okay, that's one of their strongest suits.
Yeah, and Penguinator here, absolutely killing it on his Moira. But at this point, we have started to expect plays like this coming out of Penguinator. He's been very solid all season. A very fun player to watch.
We have a consensus.
Yeah, and there goes Justice Seaman with that high energy charge. Gaining 18 or gaining 24 eliminations.
Yeah, and it's very tough. It looks like Ryujin's starting to get a bit split up here or there, and that problem, they're kind of having some coordination issues, but it's being exacerbated by Jav putting up May walls. So once the teams finally kind of coalesce together and they're going for a push, the Jav just puts a wall straight up and isolates the tanks. And it looks like this team's just being dissected right now.
Yeah, that Ohio aggression really shows, really makes the tempo of the game. So right now we're going into Temple of Anubis. What do you expect to see here?
I really expect Ryujin to run the exact same thing. They've been running this all season since stage 1, and I believe they're gonna keep doing it. On 2CP, you have a bit better luck with the Bastion strats, so hopefully we'll see that coming out of them. And maybe when you are set up in more of a very clear attack defend kind of situation, we'll see Ryujin maybe clean up some of the coordination and teamwork issues they're having.
Yeah, maybe we could see the Bastion teleport into their line, maybe get a pick or two, and then teleports back out. Just be happy with the one pick from the bat, and then maybe move in on that. But the thing is, with the way Ohio approaches each fight with the man down, it might be very tough. So I would love to see big plays coming out from Ryujin.
Oh, and they definitely can. UE9 has looked amazing on that Sigma. His teammate may not be looking so hot in this match, but right now he rocked the Pharah straight out of the sky and knocked her off the map. That also means no res. And his Sigma ults have been good when he's been able to get him off. And, you know, this team is showing signs of life. Sandpiper's also done a very good job on the support line for Ryujin. But it's just when you get split up like that, a very high-speed, aggressive comp that Ohio runs can just kind of, or can absolutely punish their positioning, and they can do it very quickly.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see the Torb and Bastion coming out from side Ryujin. So with the two supports to help with Bastion, but the exciting thing I'm ready to see is XL on the Torb. You don't see that often.
You don't, and I'm curious where he's going to set up his turret, and it looks like he's just going to throw it in the middle of the road. Oh, no, okay. So it'll be interesting to see XL decides to place this turret, because it does provide a second point of pressure other than the Bastion. Ooh, he actually put it in a really good spot. He put it up on this little shelf.
Yeah, and Ohio's already going on right side, maybe trying to get an advantage so they can move in here, and then just to see him and overuse stuff. But when that wall does block off Risa, looks like it does block off the Bastion, so he just gets free damage coming up from above. And then Jaff already is forced to use out his wall, or to use out his cube.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, he already uses Ice Block early, and they've kind of have Ohio pinned down in this room here. They can't really poke their head out with fear of this Bastion. But now as they come over to the high ground, they look to drop straight down onto the point.
Yeah, and Ohio already has point pressure, so that means that Ryujin's gonna have to come to them. Looks like they already got take from it as well. And then now Ryujin's coming over to meet them halfway, and then Bone Zone gets stunned with that rock, but looks like he was unable to do much. Sandpiper does versus XL, but XL drops again to Justice Demon. And then that Bastion just got frozen and then shot down. Ram Crusher does get both supports, which is huge, and then Yui comes back with that huge play, but is it enough to carry them? No,
Unfortunately, Overwatch is a team game here, so even though Yui pops off there at the end and gets the big, I believe it was a 3K, there is no one around to help him contest the points, and a 3v1 rarely goes the side of the one. But it was a very good ult from him.
Right, and now we have they do get, and now we have Justice Seaman coming up with the grab in a bit, but Brule and Tenacious already have that Bongo Bastion ult, so that'll be interesting to see with that massive damage output.
It is a massive potential here, as well as when you start combining some of these ults, you know, Moira's orbs get in there as well.
Oh, and then he does get 2 right off the bat. Huge pace from Brule.
3 more, and it looks like it's going to be a clean team kill from Ryujin.
Yeah, that Brule combo with the Orisa Bongos was huge damage output. Just managing to keep on punching in Ohio.
The thing is, you can't do that every fight though. Now, as I said, that Brule has gone over to the Mei, and now that shift away from the Bastion strategy now forces them to play into a lot of ults that Ohio's been able to build up.
Yeah, no, Ohio already goes in here with a Shattered, only gets 1% stun and the risk of used up Fortified, but the wall does separate them a bit, but it looks like Ohio doesn't matter if there's a wall or not, they're still going to get huge amount of point pressure here, thanks to Bone Zone leading the charge in.
Bone Zone was the tip of the spear, but the muscles behind it, driving it into that fight, was Penguinator and his Coalescence. Both team fight wins here for Ohio, as they should be capping the second point as I speak. But both of the team fight wins that came from Ohio were off the backs of those Coalescences, and it's also the timing of them is extremely key. Where Penguinator was able to build it up very quickly in just while they were poking on point A, and then I believe he got it partway through the first fight on their first attack on point B, but decides to hold it. And so they can initiate with the Coalescence, which means Jonathan now gets to hold his sound barrier for the extra sustain that eventually gives Ohio that point.
Yeah, and looks like unfortunately, Ohio had so many ults stacked up for that last fight. Meanwhile, Ryujin only had the Mercy ult coming up, so that was just a huge ult stomp from the Ohio. But Brule did pop off, and Yui did pop off some moments.
And I actually kind of like the idea of running a Baptiste into Ohio, because they have been so good with their ult economy. That immortality field can act as almost a mini ultimate, keeping everyone alive. And if you know that Ohio is just going to keep cycling these massive ults at you, having that on cooldown might be a very smart choice.
Yeah, it looks like Ohio is also running the Bastion, but instead they're running the May Wall and then double shield. We're not going to see a Mercy, so we won't be able to see that Bastion res, but they do have Jonathan running the Baptiste. And then we also have Brule on the fair, which I love to see.
Well, also Penguinator's Ana is what the first time I cast him, his Ana actually looked very amazing. That's what stood out to me the most, was his ability to weave in some of these nades. And it's a rare thing to see in some of the lower ranks. That's some like ML11, ML7 level strats, you know. But I'm very excited to see, and the first nade of the game goes out. But I'm very excited to see Penguinator back onto the Ana.
Fortunately, Brule does switch off fair, so my heart hurts for that.
But Brule's played a very good Mei as well.
Right. It's gonna be interesting to see. I'm assuming they're just gonna wall off the Bastion to get some time to move in, and then look. Yeah, and there's a teleport going out. We should be able to engage on them. Looks like they're going to be underneath the Bastion sideline, so they should be able to go in there untested. And then looks like Ohio is going back to point. Meanwhile, Ryujin already has some space on the point on the left side of it, but unfortunately they already used Ice Block from Mei, so they need to do something, and then they're just being held up in this choke point right here. And then Brune does go down with that purple Ononade, and then just Seaman going in, and then Ramcrush does get Yui, so it looks like this fight's already lost.
Yeah, it's sustained wars are going to go to the side of the defense normally in this case. Well, also the extra output or healing output you have from a BAP and an Ana just gives Ohio much more sustain. But it also looked like Tenacious didn't know where he was supposed to, or where they were supposed to be in that fight. As the Orisa, after the teleport, it looked like the Orisa wanted to go into the side room and take the high ground that Ramcrasher's on now. But instead, the team kind of gets split up into almost 3 little sub-fights. And Ohio is able to just focus on one at a time. They don't panic. They collapse back to the point, and they just eventually get the first pick and snowball that into a big team fight win.
Yeah, I would just like to point out that that Ryujin Uprisings switches to main to dive tanks and Ashe. This is gonna be interesting to see. I love seeing dive.
Well, you had to change something up, right? You've been running the same comp for 2 matches now, and it's not been going well. So
Right.
Brule on the Brule goes down
Brule
early.
already got down, so it looks like they might be backing off of that. Or the monkey still stays in. Unfortunately, gets purple and then frozen.
Yeah, there's a reason we don't see a lot of dive, especially into a Bastion comp where like Winston jumps in such a predictable way. He's very easy to track, and if you can just pump the Bastion into the Winston the entire time, he's not coming out alive.
Yeah, and Yui barely gets out alive as well, as you just said that.
Yeah, and the switch to Ashe is kind of interesting. It's most likely to try to get some big dynamites in, and because it goes through the shield, so getting it back onto the Bastion can be a very good way to initiate into playing into some of these Bastion comps. But Ohio's sitting on 6 ults, so they're sitting on a full 6-pack.
Yeah, and then with Excel on that Summer, maybe they could shut down a few, but they won't be able to shut down everything. So they would probably can only bring out Bastion over from the equation. Oh, speaking of Bastion, he's already out of the equation, but both tanks get DMAC and Monkey's dead as well. But looks like Ryujin already gets on point, and then there goes the freeze from Jab. Those 6 ults came in clutch for them, and then looks like Ryujin's unable to do much against this.
Yeah, they used all 6 ults though, but they still have about 15 seconds left, and that might be enough time to get a few reinforcements back in here. And now Ohio's drained on all of their ults, and Ramcrasher has to switch to the Tracer.
Yeah, it looks like Monkey's just trying to go in and touch for the stagger a bit, and then looks like Ohio's just chasing him down. Meanwhile, Ryujin's team members keep on coming in. The Moira goes in for the healing, and then the orb goes out, saves the Monkey for a bit, and then they're just fighting on point. The Monkey and the Moira, can they win this? And then there goes Ryujin's Diva Bomb. Isn't able to get anything. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to get anything, but it does look like this is going to be a huge overtime stall fight. And then Brule and Sandpiper are still on point. Yui DMAX, but she has time to remake. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to go Ryujin's way.
Unfortunately for Sandpiper there, 99% to a sound barrier as time ticks away. Almost had that sound barrier out. That could have been used to extend the point for another, I don't know, probably like 10 seconds, honestly. But it could have been something there. You never know.
Yeah, and here we see Brule's pivot the game. Huge one. Looks like Ohio also just shepherded their way into the corridor, which was easy enough for Bastion to get in, sneak in.
Yeah, Brule looked very good this round. He was kind of the linchpin of the defense as long as they had it. He's looking good. There are signs of life from Ryujin.
Yeah, and the interesting switch over to dive, the Monkey Diva, I thought it was interesting to go into Bastion, which I'm assuming they would just dive it, which was successful. They did manage to get Bastion out last fight.
They did, but at the same time, Penguinator had slept the Monkey right as that was happening, and anti-nated the Monkey as well. So even though your Bastion goes down, both your tanks are in a lot of trouble when that happens.
Yeah, and looks like we're just gonna go to halftime break. Anything you want to say before we go into that?
No, I'm really looking forward to casting the last couple matches here. It should be exciting, so make sure everyone sticks around here, and we should be right back.
All right, we'll see you back in like 5-ish minutes.
All right, everybody, welcome back from our short break here, where we have the Ohio OwOs facing up against the Ryujin Uprising. Going into Eichenwald, our score is 2-0 in the favor of Ohio. It's been quite a match so far. So
Yeah, Ohio already up with that 2 lead, showing that aggression, and then Ryujin coming up short in some matches, but showing some really bright spots.
yeah, this is I think the first time I've ever seen firsthand, not on Reddit, a Pharah get rocked out of the sky. So that was pretty interesting. And it looks like we are going to jump into Eichenwald here in just a second. Uh, just so everyone does know, we do not play on the Halloween version of maps. We will be playing on the standard version, for, the sake of standardization.
Yeah, and on Icon, what do you want to see here?
Not dive. To put it a little bluntly there. I do think Ryujin should be trying some more things. I don't think dive's going to be the answer. So I would probably expect them to go back to their Sigma Orisa. But the Ashe pick was a very interesting one, and we never got to see a Bob come out. But you can run a Ashe with a Mercy and damage boost the actual Dynamite to, really build Bobs very quick, and that'd be a very interesting strategy. Just constantly throwing a 7th man into the fight could be the way to beat Ohio.
Yeah, I would love to see some more off-meta picks other than just Double Shield or Bastion, which I've been kind of getting tired of lately, but I don't know if the players feel like they're getting tired of, so it will be amazing to see what each team pulls off here.
I know I'm very sick of seeing Bastion from a casting standpoint of I don't know how many more times I can sit there and go, and then a Bastion did a thing, and he held left click.
It was big play from the Bastion.
Right, but some more fun heroes to watch to get buffed. Sombra, everybody's favorite character, recently got a buff to her translocator, just a little more intuitive to use and a lot more uptime on the translocator for Sombra. So I was talking to some of the minors players a couple weeks ago, and they were saying like, no, it doesn't change too much for them. It does change. It favors the style where you can throw your translocator in the air to EMP. So they changed the cooldown on that, so that's much more available. It's a little less telegraphed, but it looks like they're gonna. I'm sorry. It looks like Ryujin's gonna go with the Pharah as well as the McCree.
Yeah, and speaking of fun characters, we get to see Justice Demon Tracer, which I would love to see more of in game. But the Mercy the Pharaoh already gets knocked out of the sky, and Justice Demon does get the support. Jonathan reses Pharah, and Blackman goes in onto the Risa, getting that damage on. The purple already lands on Tenacious. Then Justice Demon gets behind them, and then manages to get Sigma distracted enough for areas to get both tanks down. Ram Crash does get the Mercy too, so there goes the Farm Mercy pock for Brûlé.
Yeah, that was a very clean fight, a good pick from Justice Demon in the beginning, but on these rotations to the point, Ryujin's gonna have to start staying together more, or especially this Tracer is gonna eat him up.
Yeah, and then EXO with that starting pick already on making the Mercy waste that res right off the bat. And then looks like Blackman is already trying to push in with alongside Aurelius. And then then running with the signature Ryan Zarya.
Oh yeah, Aurelius comes in and Blackman comes in, so a different tank lineup. They still do prefer the Ryan Zarya. Aurelius was starting for them for I believe most of the stage, but just Demon with a huge pick.
Yeah, and then looks like they're already up 3 for the side of Ohio. Now it's just left for the Pharmacy. Maybe he can do something about this, bring it back, but it looks like they just want to back up and regroup the team. While Blackman just keeps pushing in, putting pressure on them, but it does get shot down for that.
It was a little over aggressive, a very optimistic charge there, but Ram Crasher is still going after as Axel goes down. It will be rezzed up, but.
Yeah, then Tenacious already knocks on Aurelius. So it looks like this aggression might have been cancelled out a bit because both tanks are down already. And then there goes Ram Crasher, so the Pharaoh too. But he did manage to push Carter.
Yeah, the cart is basically up against the wall here. It's a bit scattered. There wasn't a clean, decisive team fight that Ohio normally likes to take. Blackman was just trying to get some exit kills and kind of got picked off, being a little too aggressive here. But you know, you'll take a win where you are gifted one.
Yeah, and both teams are already really close to their ults. Arizona, Ohio, with short on their ult. Speaking of ults, UE goes down to Shatter, and then there goes Ram Crasher's Barrage, but gets shot down immediately. Blackman does go in aggressively, but the grab does go out, manages to get good push on the team. XL does get the answer, they're down the heater, and then Brule does manage to get res by Sandpiper, and it looks like this might be another version of last fight, how it's just the farmers he left.
Yeah, it played out a little weirdly there. Shout out to Yui though, he ate a lot of that barrage. As Sigma, you can eat a good amount of damage, but it's not infinite. And he was able to neutralize Ram Crasher's ult there, which really did give his team a fighting chance.
Yeah, that's already point for the side of Ohio, and then just seeming going in aggressive, try and get maybe another pick off for anyone that wants to pay attention to his engage.
Well, you know, and one of the things with Ryujin's composition here is they don't have a defensive ult. They don't really have any good defensive abilities to save themselves from a barrage or save themselves from this Graviton from Aurelius.
Blackman gets stunned, almost dead, but manages to get nanoed, and there goes the beat. Then Blackman should be able to go in, being his aggressive self, like he's been doing this for this whole round. And then there goes Sigma, there goes Yui Sigma, and then huge, manages to get a few people up in the air, and then, but unable to capitalize much on it. Fair Mercy does go out, manages to save Brule. Yui's already at half health, and then there goes Blackman's aggression, managing to bully, and then there goes Ram Crasher's barrage, gets 4 kills. That should be clean up.
It should just be clean up here. Yui's just left on the point, and now Afara is going to try to touch and stall it out, but to no avail. And that's Ohio finishing with a massive 3 minutes and 40 seconds in time bank here.
Yeah, at the end of that fight, we just saw the Fair raining damage from above. Wasn't really contested there, and then managed to get the huge barrage off without much interference.
Yeah, and you know, at this point, I feel like it's a playstyle change that needs to come out of Ryujin, where it seems they're not coordinating around the halts from Tenacious here, where if you can start halting the Reinhardt back and kind of controlling him, it allows you to dictate the tempo of the fight as opposed to the Ryan Zarya, where they play very aggressive, very fast, and they want to dictate the tempo. You know, and Orisa has an ability with her Fortify and her halt ability to try and slow down the game a bit.
And looks like we're seeing dive from both sides potentially. And then was just Seaman on Tracer, Blat on the Monkey, and then we're gonna see the Fair battle again coming out. But Ohio is okay. Never mind. They do switch to the Mercy. I was just about to say.
I was gonna say that Brigitte pick isn't looking so hot, but no. Instead, it will be
Zen.
Jonathan on the Zen. He has walked out of spawn, and it's a very long walk for him to walk back. So you know, it looks like he will be sticking on the Zen, as it were. He didn't get an official buff, but we did. Zenyatta can walk now, guys. They did it.
It's spooky to look at, but they did it.
They did it. We finally Zen can walk, but just a Seaman with a very early pickoff.
Yeah, and looks like they want to wait for Excel to come back out and come back in response. Maybe get an early hack off so they can initiate something. But Ramcrash does take out Brule already out. They can't get out of here. Looks like.
Well, it's also not too much pressure being put on them. It's a Tracer and a Far for a good amount of distance. But it looks like that Tracer is giving them a lot of problems. Their healers have not been able to do much.
Maybe they just want to move forward something, because just even last round he was a huge problem for them, for the supports last round. And then just like he is right now, taking out Rose go already off.
Ooh, that is a huge pick though. But looking at Jonathan's ult charge here, he's at 15%, and it's not really his fault. He just hasn't had much to heal or to shoot at, as this fight's been taking place very far ahead. a kind of a scary place for Zen to exist, but it looks like they are going to back up a bit. Make sure the support stays safe and allow them to continue to be as dominant as they have been.
Yeah, I know we're already about to get the barrage off, so that early aggression that Ohio keeps on putting off, it should be able to finish another fight if they want to dedicate to this again.
Justice Seaman is ruining Rose's life right now. That is the third pick off on the 1v1 that Justice Seaman has won, and you know, with the Tracer damage buffs, she's looking to be pretty strong.
Do you think it's time for Ryujin to start maybe thinking of a way to counter Tracer?
Well, I think part of it is the supports have to peel for each other as well. You can't just let your Orisa or your Moira die repeatedly. You have to help her out.
And Yui and I get what you mean. Yui and Tenation, both tanks already going. Maybe this is something huge to work off of. And then now we just have Orialis starting on point, and then Tracer coming back in too. And then that charge for Ryan goes in, gets Orialis, and then now it's a team of Ohio going in, trying to stagger stance again. Does pull out the monkey ult, but it gets hacked, so he can't jump away or do anything with the jump. And then Yui does manage to get Blackman, and then Tenacious does get Ram Crash, so it's gonna be interesting. But they're still having Brawl on point with Oriatis stalling her as long as he can. And they even dedicated the stall with Nano, so he's just running around trying to stall out for as long as he can.
Yeah, it's a very smart move here. They're playing the time bank here as they have such a massive advantage, allowing they don't really want to fight and die on this hill. It's better for them. It's better for Ohio just to drain as much time as they can out, and it looks like they're still going here as Jonathan comes into the point, immediately hacked. And Justice Seaman is also still poking around here, but it is just a stall attempt, really.
But they do dedicate the beat to it, so that should be able to finish off the rest of the fight. But we still have the Tracer and the ball running around. The ball does get hacked, so maybe they could start hard focusing this ball. And then, yeah, he does manage to gut drop, but there goes the Tracer as well.
Yeah, Justice Seaman going down should mean the end of this fight, but it does also mean that Ryujin is down to 2 minutes and 50 seconds, almost a full minute less than what than what Ohio has sitting in their time bank right now.
And Ryujin does also put in the beat for that, so that's gonna be that's gonna make it even between the sports with the Penguinator coming up already. But there goes a huge EMP opening up, and then that should be enough for a fight. If they can initiate even harder than this, but Just Team does fall dangerously close. He does have post bomb, and then Blackman does get the maze, so he should be running into showing that aggression again. And then there goes the rest of the team supporting Blackman with this aggression. And then Reaper goes in and Ham. Tracer does get in the backline, maybe get a pick off here. Rose is getting chased down by the Tracer, and then they're just gonna fall back a bit.
How did Aurelius live there? So EMP also strips all shields, so the Zarya was brought to half health and then brought down to 1 health. And by some miracle, Aurelius is able to back up and save his own life.
Yui does go in with that charge, but the bubble goes in for save. And then there goes Shatter, Graph, and Mayfreeze. That's a lot of ults, but they do really need to win this fight with their short time back. But Blackman does strike back with the Shatter of his own. And then that should be, and then Ram Crush goes in, just gaining the rest of the cleanup kills.
Yeah, that ult usage, I think could be a little better from Ryujin there. A lot of those ults, all 3 of those ults actually were CC ults. And you can CC everything at the same time, but it doesn't do anything better than what 1 CC would normally do, right? If you're caught in a grab or if you're stunned on the ground, it's a very similar effect. And I'm sure they're going to be wanting some of those ults back for this fight.
Yeah, it looks like Ohio is just holding down this point. Yui's just trying to make some way, banning the Ryan in their fight. And then the wall does go off, but they just... And then there goes the Ram Crush, so it does manage to get 2 kills from it, and Boy drops immediately. It does look like they won't be able to get much from this.
Nope, and we're going to have another team fight, or another almost continuous fight happening in front of Ryujin's spawn, with Justice Seaman able to poke around in the back and just farm these pulse bombs all day long.
Yeah, Justice Seaman's going uncontested for their supports. Keeps on getting... There goes the Shatter from the Ryan. Does get a huge amount of that, and then gets support from the Anonade, or from the Nano.
That was a huge Shatter, And actually a very big grab to follow it up here, but now with 20 seconds left, they are down on ults. And at least Yui is sitting on his Earth Shatter, and that could be the fight-winning ultimate for Ryujin here.
Ryujin does finally manage to get Justice Seaman out of place. That might do something, but from the looks of it, doesn't think it's going to do much, because Ramp Crusher already took out the Ryan.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Yui's out there, he does happen to go down. But we do see a May Freeze coming out.
And then there goes the beat from the side of Ohio. So it looks like Ohio is sliding out that kill feed, and then weren't able to make it.
Yeah, that's a pretty aggressive hold there.
What would you? Yeah, what do you think Ryujin could have done better in those fights?
At this point, it's pretty similar to what I've been kind of, I don't want to say harping on, but harping on. You know, it's just some basic teamwork issues they seem to have, maybe some communication issues. But they're not really playing as a team, and they're able to just be like dissected by Ohio here.
Yeah, and Ohio is on a huge win streak already, taking down the team from last week, and managed to get 3 map wins off today. So with the last map coming up, that should be enough for maybe a playoff push, or it should be enough to keep Ohio up there.
Ohio will be making the playoffs of everything, and if you ask me, they will most definitely be in the stage 2 playoffs with this record. Well, especially with just this map differential, if they keep not dropping maps, they've looked very dominant, and their map differential is going to be impossible to catch up to. So at this point, I think it's safe to say Ohio will be making stage 2 playoffs. If not the entire season playoffs, I would say Ohio would be a part of and probably winning.
Nevertheless, that map 4 is going to count towards their overall, or towards their map differential. Which map 4 we're going into looks like it's going to be the Route 66.
Yeah. And these map 4s where nothing matters, I think is what really defines a team. Where if you go into a map 4 knowing you just got stomped, being resilient and not giving up, fighting to the very end, I think shows a lot of character, and it's not something to be overlooked. As well as it gives you some time to experiment and kind of play around. You know, we saw Ohio do that a lot on the last map with the ball pick.
Yeah, that ball pick was something different that we've seen, and it was really nice to see them off their signature Ryan Zara. And it looks like they did just as well with that, with Orielis stalling that point for as long as she did.
Yeah, that was an amazing stall for them, but I don't know how well that strategy would work up against in playoffs. But it does look like we've had a few changes in here. Oh, even a role change. We see Bozone coming back in, but as a support, giving Penguinator a little much-deserved rest for him.
All right, looks like we're going to see Bozone, man of many talents, from that tank now to support. Maybe DPS next game?
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see him start on DPS next week. Who knows? Who knows? We also have Clay Lamau coming in, I believe, on the tank role.
Right, so we're going to go... Yeah,
and
so
Justice Seaman also comes out for Jeff.
Yeah, just give the man a break. He's been doing a lot of work for this team, bringing a Havoc in the back line as Tracer last match.
I'll say Justice Seaman put the team on his back. He needs to go see a chiropractor.
Well, it's not only just Seaman. The whole team played really well with the aggression. Following up on each other.
They did, but Justice Seaman picking off the Orisa at the beginning of almost every single fight was absolutely massive.
Yeah, so right now we're on here, Route 66. What do you want to see here from the team? Was something new with the new comp line for Ohio? Anything you want to see them experiment with? Anything you will be excited to see?
Well, apparently XL can read my mind, because I was about to say a Widowmaker. This has always been a good Widow map, and if they aren't gonna run the double shield, you know, their backline's a little more exposed, and now they also have their main support coming, or one of their starting supports coming out. So Jonathan, maybe who may not be as comfortable on the Ana, you know, could be taking some odder angles that can be exploited both by Brule and EXL here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that Bone Zone support.
But EXL going over to the Sombra. Boo. Dashing my hopes and dreams.
But we do get the ball, so we do get some. But we do get some. We do get to see some fast play.
Well, and Ball's very good up against Reinhardt, where you just gotta knock him around constantly. Clay Lamau will not be feeling very comfortable with this ball rolling through him and his team.
Yeah, XL is back on Widow, and looks like he's just trying to take some pot shots. And then Yui does go in right away. This gets charged in, so he's out right away.
Yeah, last time I happened to cast Ohio, Clay Lamau and Aurelius were their starting tank line, and Clay Lamau was a very formidable Reinhardt. It is going to be a massive task for you to stand toe-to-toe with him.
Ariana's already got knocked down. Ryan got taken down to half. That ball looks like it's putting in work, knocking up the supports, and then leaving some space for the Ashe to get thrown in their minds. But Clay Lamau does go in, gets Sandpiper, but he does get shot down for his aggression. And then looks like he's trying to get the back up, but EXO gets that massive dome to the head to Ram Crusher.
And that's what I wanted to see. These Widowmaker has such high pick potential. All Ryujin needs right now is a little momentum, and I think they could get the ball rolling, so to speak.
And then Orientis, or EXO, Orientis did stack for a couple of seconds, but EXO snaps back, gets Pharmacy out of the sky.
Yeah, and that's absolutely huge. EXL putting on a show for us here, showing us that Ryujin has some fight left and this map isn't quite over.
Yeah, and there goes Brule going opening it up with 2 kills, throws in the bomb, making sure that they have some that they are able to keep that pressure up.
Yeah, and then the only person left alive was Clay Lamau, and is easily isolated. Very good bob placement, able to isolate the Ryan and gives them point A here.
Yeah, the 2 DPS coming out from Ryujin opening up big time with XL getting that triple kill in the beginning, and then Brule opening up with a dynamite.
Yeah, those dynamites are massive. Being able to pass through these shields and, you know, that constant ticking damage does wonders for your ult charge.
Yeah, and the job does manage to knock down XL. And it looks like we're just having tank battle on point with Clay Lamau pushing into the Ryan. So Yui does have to get nanoed and then charges out. So Clay Lamau definitely winning that tank battle there. Pushing Yui out all the way out, and then does manage to pull Sandpiper's nano too.
Well, and now it looks like Ram Crasher has gone over to the Han zone. He loses the sniper battle, but EXL is slept by Sandpiper.
Wait, was that Bone Zone's DPS Mercy? Is that the closest thing we're gonna get?
It looks like it. With now Jonathan moving over to the Ana.
Yeah, and looks like they're just trying to set up on high ground, maybe trying a different angle, maybe go around them. Looks like they're expecting this, but Ryan looks like he's in a tough position with those mines, pushing him out. So they could maybe isolate this Ryan if they are able to, and then just get support. And then there goes the grab. Orientis does get 2 kills right off the bat. So this might be lost fight for the side of Ryujin.
Yeah, it looks like it probably will. They got very split up in the beginning there. But now with walls popped, you know, you never know. EXO might be able to show us a little bit of magic on that Widow, as Clay Lamau does go down early.
So this might be a huge opening for Ryujin to actually open up with.
Yeah, but if they can stay together, and it looks like they all are together on the low ground here. Last fight, they got a little separated onto the high ground and low ground here, and they were able to get grabbed by Aurelius.
Going in for the res, does manage to pull it off, but he does get shot down immediately from Brule. And then, so we have Aurelius back on point, staggering it for as long as he can.
Well, and Rose Gold chiming in there with her grab.
There goes Shadow from Clay Lamau. Does manage to get 3 teams, so that would clean up the fight.
Yeah, and it looks like Tenacious will just be making a graceful exit here on the ball. As EXL is able to pick off Farah at the cost of Widowmaker's own life.
And then they do get rest. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, you cannot rest someone off the map. So, you know, a bit of a bummer there. But now Tenacious is sitting on the mines, as well as Yui has the Shatter here.
Yeah, so let's see if you can open up with the Shatter lot. And Sampire looks like he was who almost got picked out. Sports are also getting picked out, and then there goes the Shatter you're talking about. Does manage to get 3 members from side of Ohio, and then but does get purpled and looks like he might be in this drop dangerously low. Does get saved by the Ana, but looks like it wasn't good enough for the save. And then look, clean him out. Clayton Mao just defending off against that Bob. Relay with that Bob, huge, manages to get Clayton Mao and Oriadis.
Yeah, it was a really clever attempt there from Ryujin, and it worked pretty well. They won the team fight, didn't they? But they go in with the Shatter, and then they throw in mines on top of everyone as they're laying down, and it does give them a lot of space to push this cart.
EXO still putting on body shots on that fair, pressuring them out, making sure they can't do as much as they want to. And then Bone Zone 1v1ing that Widow. Meanwhile, the whole team is already dropped on point, making sure they're almost getting capped up. Then looks like they just need a few more seconds up.
Bone Zone with the DPS Mercy able to pick off the Widowmaker. That is not something you see every day.
And the supports get purpled from that. Doesn't look like they're gonna be able to get much from it though.
No, Bone Zone looking a little flashy here, but it is Ryujin who's able to take point B.
Bone Zone on Mercy looks very promising.
He's been fun to watch, I'll give you that much. But, you know, Tenacious has been putting on a clinic with this ball. He's done a great job disrupting Clay Lamau and making sure they're not able to establish a good rhythm.
Yeah, there goes the mines. Almost manages to get the Mercy knocked out. And then, but he does get dangerously low to himself. And he gets, and he does get purple by Ana. But they're still managing to push in. Brule coming out, managed to get Oriadis. And then there goes the Shatter from Clayton out. Goes in aggressively from that. But EXO, uncontested on the Widow, manages to get Ana, and then Brule gets the Mercy. So there's both supports down. Clay, 1 health.
Oh, 1 health, and Brule happens to just miss the dynamite there. Yeah, he lives by some miracle, but not without conceding a good amount of distance for the cart.
And then there goes the grab coming out from Ohio, and then the Nano Ryan going into it, so it's going to be a lot of damage output from that. And then the shot does go out from UE, but it was shielded by Clay. So there looks like it's going anti-aggression. Clay pushing into UE, and then Job there for the follow-up. And then Bone Zone does get Sandpiper, and Job does get UE, so that looks like it's going to be fight.
Ryujin should look to back out here, except for maybe with Tenacious just trying to farm up a little bit of ult charge, but he can escape very quickly as he is a hamster inside of a ball.
Yeah, and we see and we see EXO move over to that Hanzo, so we won't be able to see those flashing montage moments with Widow, but now and then we do have Bob coming up. Bob's already out, does get shattered off. And then, but that opened up hugely, so it left K available open, so Yui could go in and engage on them. And it looks like they're gonna
going for the sneaky res and gets it off.
And Jab also behind. There's a bunch of stuff going on here, from the fight above or from the fight on cart, and then Jab getting kills behind. And then those dragons came out. Should be able to space them out a bit. So. And then Tenacious going up with those mines, does manages to clear point for a while, and then gets Clayton out off.
We are in overtime now, so if Ryujin does step off the point, they will be not finishing off point 3 here.
And then Bone Zone does fall to the mines that were on cart, and then Tenacious does drop, so they won't be able to stall as much as can or have that much CC. But Brule guarding that door, and then finally contested by Oriators on the Diva. The carts left, make sure the carts left on check, with Cole coming out, trying to support Ohio as long as can.
Okay, everyone, before you start spamming C9, it's not quite a C9. Yui was on the cart, and they were able to kill him off as the other team was trying to back off from the dragons. So, not quite a C9, but it was close. But Ryujin looking actually very strong on this map.
Yeah, and we finally see Ryujin wake up from Yui pushing into Clay, showing him that he could be just as aggressive.
Yeah, and EXL putting on an absolute clinic. It was a bit of a quiet series from Ryujin, but you know, this time they're looking really strong on their attack on Route 66.
and then having the DPS wake up like that, getting those shots off, shots from the beginning, Ryujin definitely needed something like this in past maps.
Yeah, but it also gives them something to kind of hang their head high on. You know, it's something to walk away from this match, and at least it might have been a bit of a tough match for Ryujin here, but they have something that they can show that they did very well, and it wasn't just them rolling over.
Yeah, and then now we see Ram Crush on Doomfist, which I haven't seen a whole bunch recently, so it's gonna be fun to see him.
Which is a little odd because there's some small changes to Doomfist, but nothing crazy. But it's mostly just given the meta that we're in with double shields, he's very valuable in the double shield comp, or against double shield comps. But up against Ohio, where they're not running double shields, or right now where they're barely running any shields, Doomfist isn't as effective. So we've seen a little bit less of it, just due to the tank play.
Yeah, and now we see Ryujin back onto Ohio's signature tank line, Ryan and Zarya. So let's see if they're gonna excel even more. Meanwhile, Excel gets dropped down to Jav.
Yeah, that's a very crucial opening kill, and it gives his team a lot of space to actually take this fight.
And then there goes that coordinated dive from side of Ohio, going in with the monkey. And the monkey does get Sandpiper, so they're down an Ana. And then now it looks like the team's just separated from the Ryan above and then to the support Tony back. So it looks like they're just getting shredded.
Yeah, they're just getting picked apart after that early death that early kill from Jav. They just were given so much space, and Ryujin's gonna try to come in and recontest, but it's a very scattered attempt with only a couple members in here, as they do go to swap up their tank line. Actually, swap up their comp pretty heavily.
Yeah, that dive to open up with from Ohio was a great executed dive, managing to get the Ana for all the trouble.
Yeah, and now they're Ryujin going the no shield approach with the famous quick play composition of Hog Zarya, which is yeah, that's a choice.
This is gold too, by the way, or gold plat.
It's gold plat, but it's a team environment. Normally, you do have a dedicated main tank who's there to play the Orisa or the Reinhardt or something, but it looks like Yui wants to flex onto the Roadhog.
Yeah, clearing him out already, putting out the monkey old man. Does focus on Sandpiper, does draw a drop, and then Jav does get relayed. So there you have huge opening in this. With Doomfist going in, trying to do as much as he can with that CC available, and then just gets out with it.
Yeah, they really need to start protecting their backline a bit. Sandpiper's been dove a few times, and it's very hard as a very old lady when you have a very large monkey jumping at you. You need some help from your team. So if they can protect their backline here, they still have a chance on this to hold on point B here. It's still very early on in the point.
Yeah, and we see, looks like they're just trying to stay on card, get as much point as they can. But Jav does go in and get relayed while the dive is going in from the monkey hamster. And then that does prove successful with the dive getting 3 kills, I think. And then there goes the Zarya on left behind, trying to stall as long as he can. And then the Hog does manage to pull out his ult. It's nothing from it.
Yeah, it gets very little for it, but Ryujin does look like they want to contest one more time, and with a Grav, a Nano, and a Valkyrie, they might have the tools to stabilize here on second.
Yeah, now it looks like Orieta's pushing those mines, making sure that they can't touch it in time. So it looks like this point's going to be on for Ohio.
Yeah, and EXL here, just swapping over to the Samba, just trying to make sure she got all the way up to the ult of the MP, but does get picked off very early before this next fight. It's really underway.
But Yui does get to respawn back, but then it does manage to put a halt to their push a bit, backing out, because that was just their monkey, which has ult. And then with Excel's MP, which he just used, I want to see something big combo with, but it looks like Jav is the one that actually initiates with anything.
Yep, and when your Reaper can teleport into a backline and get 3 kills like that, no one else on the team really has to use their ability, so the MP doesn't get as much value as they're probably hoping for here. But yeah, kind of what I was saying earlier about a possible communication issue for Ryujin, where Reaper, that when you can't keep track of a Reaper like that, it's normally due to a breakdown in communication somewhere.
Yeah, and it looks like XL moved over to the Genji, so might be able to go for a stall. But Monkey does get stepped in back. And then there goes the grab hog and Bob. So that should be, that should force Ohio to back out of it.
Yeah, and Yubi's looked really good on this Roadhog, opening up a lot of these fights with a pick from the Roadhog.
Yeah, and then there goes this, Sug, managing to get Aurelius pretty close to death, but he just rolls out.
Well, now Ram Crasher over onto McCree, sitting on his high noon right now, could be the win condition here for Ohio, as there are no now there is only a Winston bubble to protect them from this high noon.
Right, and then Monkey also has the ult, so maybe he could force his T9.
Yeah, they possibly could, and right now the big dynamite from Brule gonna open up onto the tanks of Ohio.
Yeah, and looks like they're just having bloodbath, dropping XL and Rose, clearing them out, going in, gets the Ana, and then looks like they're just going in hunting the Ryujin players.
Yeah, and the high noon comes out from Ram Crasher. It's gonna get hooked by Yui, but to no avail there as Yui does go down.
And then Rose attempted the rest, unable to get it off, with the D.Va going and pushing him out. And then Oriatis goes in, does get both supports, so they're down to both supports. And then meanwhile, Jonathan does get the res out, and Jav is impressive.
Yeah, that was a very scattered attempt at a stall from Ryujin. That map is now over, and it is going to be a 4-0 for Ohio.
Yeah, this last map we've seen Ryujin have some huge phase from the start, but looks like Ohio was able to adapt, and then they were able to conquer.
Yeah, but Ryujin looked really good on this map. Their DPS, I think, their DPS duo has a lot of potential here, as well as their tank lines.
Yeah, Yumi's aggression to go into this was a huge explosion, which was noticeable by the way how they took first point, and then how they took second point, and then looks like Ohio maybe figured out enough to where they were able to slow him down.
Alright, it looks like we are going to grab Bone Zone here for an interview in just a moment. But before that does happen, I think we're going to throw it to a quick break while we get that all set. All right, everybody, welcome back. We have Bone Zone here for an interview. So, welcome, Bone Zone. Congratulations on today's win.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, how's your team feeling now, being absolutely undefeated in this stage?
We're feeling pretty good. Honestly, before we started, we actually had problems because the tank that we were supposed to be playing for off had his computer completely just crashed, so
Oh
we had to
wow.
sub in a new person right like 5 minutes beforehand.
Oh man, that's a really recent because I know I've cast you guys a lot, and
Yeah,
it was a new tank line there. I was a little
yeah,
surprised to see.
yeah. We Clay Lamau wasn't there at that time when the match started, so we couldn't play him. And I was the sub tank, but I never was needed in the previous stage. So they just put me in.
Well, hey, that was pretty impressive performance. You did well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, can you you swapped there to Mercy at the end. Is that
Yeah, is that your substitution tank expertise there?
I'm actually a support main, and that's why I played
Okay.
most of the matches we are in. This was my first time actually playing tank in the actual Owlet season. I played tank in the preseason, but other than that, nothing recently on tank.
All right, so we've seen you on tank, and then we just seen you on support. Can we get a
Yeah,
DPS?
no, absolutely not.
Unfortunate.
No, no.
You're not gonna go for the trifecta there?
I can roughly say I am nowhere close to anybody else on my team for DPS.
The man of
So
many
what
talents.
so what you're saying is we're gonna have to hope like 6 computers break this time.
I hope to God not, but
I would never wish that upon anybody. If you're like
yeah,
me, your PC's your baby. You built it
yeah,
yourself.
no.
But if it happened, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, congratulations on the win. I think we are going to sign off here. Thank you to everybody who played today. Congratulations to Bone Zone and the Ohio OwOs on the win. And any last minute plugs for Bone Zone or you, Cruz?
No, nothing for me.
I think we're good.
Cool. Well, thank you from everybody here from Owlet. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
GG's.